I'm checking the fluids and the oil and looking for any imperfections in hoses and the rest of the engine. So what you do is you take the oil dipstick, wipe it off, put it back in, bring it back out, and make sure it's all the way at the full line, which it is. And you take a flashlight and check your fluids. This is your power steering fluid. You want it in between the minimum cold and maximum cold, which it is. It's right here. As with the power steering fluid, the antifreeze will expand when it's hot. So you want to look in between the low and the full level. If it's somewhere in between there, it's good. So what you're going to want to do is take a look at all the fittings. Good look at all the fittings. Make sure nothing's loose. Grab a hose. Nothing's loose. Your coolant lines. And just check generally around. Obviously you can't see in the engine, but look around for anything that might be out of place. So now you're going to want to check all the lights. Make sure everything's working properly. Both signals are working. Headlights are working. And then you check your marker lights. All good. Then you check the back. Okay, what you're going to want to do is get a buddy to push the brakes for you so you can check your brake lights. So, as you can see, they're still working. They're perfect. And then you can check the back signal, left-hand side, beauty. Do the same on the right. After you're done checking the signal lights, check your reverse lights when you turn on the truck. With your bare hand, you can check the lug nuts by checking the washer behind the lug nut. If you're able to spin that washer, or if you feel it loose at all, that means that you're gonna need to tighten up the lug nuts. Check every single lug nut on every single tire. You're gonna wanna check the tire pressure. It should be from 95 to 105 pounds. It's perfect. Okay, you're gonna wanna check your hydraulic fittings and filter. Make sure there's no leaks. If there's leaks, it's bad for the environment and you could ruin your pump if you lose all your oil. This is how you tell how much oil you have. This is your tank. Should be anywhere 1/2 or 3/4 above in the sight glass. Once in a while, you're going to want to check your batteries for corrosion. There should be no corrosion around any of your terminals. You're going to want to check the suspension, everything in here, and you will see a crack if it is cracked. All right. You're going to want to check the coupler between the hydraulic motor and the water pump. This is the hydraulic motor. This is the water pump. This is the coupler joining the two. It should move freely with no residual play. This is your water pump. There's oil inside there. You check the oil by pulling a plug in the front of the face. You should do this every 6 to 8 weeks when you're doing your oil change on your engine. So you're going to want to check all the hydraulic fittings and hydraulic hoses in your hose compartment. Make sure that there's no leaks, both for the environment and for the hydraulic components. Visually look for leaks around the hydraulic fittings. After that, check the chain. It should have a little bit of movement, but not much. When you're using cam lock fittings, make sure that the rubber gasket is in good working order and in there. You're going to want to check for leaks in your valve. That should always be tight. In Yellowknife, we use this screw-on. Makes a very positive connection, and you don't really have to worry about it falling off. If you're using a cam lock, Make sure you check the gasket. The gasket's inside. You're going to want to check that, make sure that it's in good working order, and make sure everything's connected tight. These are dangerous if they fall off. Okay, one of the things you're going to want to do is make sure you have a full tank of gas. They say a half tank is an empty tank. So make sure you have ample fuel to do the job, and if you break down, then you have heat for as many hours as you have fuel. You check the gas gauge, make sure it reads F for full. You also want to check the DEF fluid, diesel exhaust fluid. There will be a bar, well, on newer trucks there will be a bar of green lights right below the gas gauge, and that should always read full. So along with your fuel gauge, there's other gauges on your dash. You're going to want to periodically monitor them throughout the day. Make sure that they are not in the red. Safety is very important. You should always have a fully charged fire extinguisher in your truck and a fully stocked first aid kit for any injury you may come across.